welcome back to my channel. Welcome to this week's Calorie Crush. It is Tuesday. I am recording this on Tuesday. I weighed this morning. That is 1 week since my last weigh-in. Sound like an alcoholic, don't it? It's 1 week since my last confession. In a way it is. It is 1 week since my last confession. This week's confession, not quite as bad. I'm still really struggling to stay on track after a certain point in the day. I start every day really strong. I start every day with a good breakfast. And, you know, I make good choices at breakfast time every day, which, in fairness, that is a huge improvement on old me. Because old me started the day terribly. Old me started the day with a packet of biscuits. Biscuits were breakfast in my mind for old me. What should I have for breakfast? Biscuits, obviously. And not just one or two, but a packet. So even not doing that, I know, is improvement. Sorry about the blink. I've got something in this eye and I've been blinking away like crazy trying to get it out for ages. Even that, I know, is an improvement on the old me. But yeah, I'm starting well. I'm getting to lunchtime. I'm pretty much okay at lunchtime. And then after lunch, the snack monster comes. The snack monster starts niggling at me. Now, most of my work shifts are afternoons or evenings. And as I said before, I'm really battling the urge to just start eating as soon as I get to work. As soon as I get to work, I'm like, right, what can I eat? And it's mainly boredom because it's not a hectic paced job most of the time. So it's mainly boredom. What can I eat now? What can I eat now? I've got sugar-free sweets to try and stave off too much of the snacking. And there's nobody there to stop me. There's no reason why I shouldn't sit there and eat all day. Apart from the fact that I shouldn't do it, you know what I mean? It's not like anybody's frowning at me for doing it, is what I mean. So I'm still working on that. But it is mostly just not being able to fight the urges. And I know it's a lot of it's mental. One of you guys actually recommended to me last week that I listened to a podcast. It's the Diary of a CEO podcast, and the guest on it was Richard Osman. Richard Osman of Pointless and House of Games and the Thursday Murder Club mystery books and whatever. And he's a really interesting guest. When somebody interviews him, he's actually really, really interesting. His life story was very interesting, and his reasons for being an overeater, because he has dealt with being an overeater in the past, and his reasons for that were quite intriguing. He puts a lot of it down to how things were in his childhood. And I can definitely hear resonance with some of the things he said to some of the way I deal with things. I'm going to put a little bit of a backstory of my life in here for those who don't know it. Some of you know that my dad died a few years ago, but you may not be aware that that was not my genetic father. He wasn't my birth father. My birth father left when I was a year old, and I had no contact with him after that point. He did not maintain any contact with me of any kind whatsoever. I occasionally saw my paternal grandparents in my hometown where we lived at the time. I occasionally saw them in the shops and they would always stop to speak and whatever, but my father didn't keep up any access agreements or anything like that. I never saw him from the day he left. I've never seen him to this day, so I've not seen him for 48 and a bit years. I didn't think that I had abandonment issues from that because my mum met the man who I refer to as my dad. Now, you might think, oh, that's your stepdad, but actually he adopted me, and so did my mum. That's another whole confusing thing. But so he's actually my father. He was legally my father, and my mum met that man when I was 4, and so I had a father figure in my life all my life. It's a whole other story about my relationship with that man and how things were. But the fact is, I didn't think that I had abandonment issues or whatever, because I thought that, well, I wasn't abandoned, was I? Somebody was there. But listening to Richard Osman during this podcast made me wonder if that's part of my issues. Obviously, I've had a couple of failed relationships in my past, and I've given up. I gave up very quickly on trying to have successful relationships because it's not worth the hassle. So do I have, is this why food is my companion? Is this why food is my solace? Is it abandonment issues? I didn't think I was lonely. I don't feel like I'm lonely, but is food my friend? Is that what I'm doing? I don't know. I do know that any kind of treat to me is food. So whenever anybody says, oh, why don't you treat yourself to a nice new nail varnish? Well, that's not a treat, is it? That's just nail varnish. Everybody has nail varnish. That's not, where's the treat? I don't treat myself. If I buy new clothes, I like them and I'm happy with them, but I wouldn't consider them a treat. They're just clothing. Something new for the house. It's just stuff. I don't feel treated by the acquisition of stuff. I feel treated by eating something that I enjoy. In the same way that perhaps if you said to an alcoholic, why don't you treat yourself to a new lipstick instead of having a drink, they'd probably look at you as if you'd completely lost your mind, because there's no correlation in an addict's mind to the thing that you are suggesting as a replacement, as a placebo or whatever, and the thing we actually want. There's no correlation to those things. I can't eat a nail varnish. Why would that be a logical replacement for a cream cake? And so while I understand that when you guys say these things, this is you're trying to help me find ways around this, but I find it difficult to comprehend, because I'm like, it's not the same. It's not the same. If you said to me, instead of having that bar of chocolate, treat yourself to 2 new nail varnishes, 3 pairs of shoes and 4 jumpers, I could go out and I could buy all of those things, and I would still, at the end of it, think, still want that chocolate. It doesn't compensate for, it doesn't satiate the craving, the urge. And that's what I need to deal with. I need to deal with controlling those cravings and urges, and just not having the things. I can't replace them with other things. I just have to not have them. And sadly, as I've proven to myself and over and over again, moderation, as I said last week, moderation doesn't seem to be in my makeup. I don't seem to be able to have just one. So I have to have none or all. I'm all or nothing. Let's go and jump on the scales, because we are now, according to the thing, we're nearly 8 minutes in. Even by the time I've edited out a few ums and ahs, we're nearly 8 minutes in, and I haven't got on the scales yet. Off we go. It's Tuesday, scales time. It's 283.6. I round that up to 284. That's £1.50 down from last week. So last week I looked at that huge £6.50 gain and I said, surely that can't be real. Well, this week, having only taken 1.5 off of it, maybe it was real. I don't know. I am still quite bloated. I don't know. My lovely iPhone very usefully says to me, your period should start tomorrow. And it said that 3 or 4 days ago, but no period has occurred. So I'm plainly somewhere in the middle of something with my cycle. But it's essentially, that £6.50 gain does look like it was more genuine than I hoped it was. I hoped it was, oh, it's all water, or it's all this, or it's all that, but it looks like it was more genuine. It looks like it's staying. £1.50 off this week. So that means that my total weight loss now stands at £6 stone, £12. I'd like to get back to that 7 stone. I really hoped I would get back there this week. Today is the 1st of November. The next video you see will be the 8th of November, and then the one after that, the one that you should have after that, I'll be on a cruise for you. I don't think you'll get that. I don't think I'm taking my scales on a cruise ship. There may be scales on board, and I may hop on those if they exist, just out of interest. Who knows? But also, I don't know what we're going to be like from point of view of being able to upload a video or whatever. So although you'll get a video next week, you may not get one the week after, or the week after that, a Calorie Crush update for that, but you'll certainly get one when I get back from my cruise, and I'm hoping not to come back too heiferish, although wall-to-wall food for a fortnight, cooked by somebody else and readily available. It's not going to be the ideal situation for someone who is struggling with self-control. Gonna find that difficult. Let's hang this back up. We're going to plod onwards. I hope you guys have had a better week than I've had. I know that I've lost £1.50 and I know that that's good. And if one of you guys had lost £1.50, I'd be ecstatic. I'd be saying that's a really good, steady weight loss. To lose £1.50 is a really good weight loss for a week, because if you steadily lose £1.50, you'll have lost 4 stone at the end of the year, 5 stone, whatever. But unfortunately, I don't steadily lose £1.50, which is why I'm not congratulating myself wonderfully for it. I seem to be still yo-yoing. Let's hope that next week I go down instead of up. I have at least this morning made the effort. I'd fallen into a bad habit of, on weigh day, once I'd got on the scales, it was a free-for-all. You can eat what you want on weigh day, because it doesn't count, does it? Because you've been on the scales, so you're free until next week. So at least I've had a word with myself this morning over breakfast and said, let's try not to do that today. Let's not try to start the week on sabotage. If sabotage comes along during the week, maybe we can deal with it when it arrives, but let's not try and start the week with sabotage. Thank you for joining me as always. Thank you for your patience with me. At the end of last week's video, I apologise for boring you with my yo-yo journey, and so many of you said you're not bored, so I very much appreciate your resilience. I can't pick these up, bear with. I very much appreciate your resilience. Hello, sorry about that. I had to go and answer the door. I was saying that I appreciate your resilience. I think I was saying that in sticking with me through my journey. I'm so out of breath now. Journey, we hate the word. I hate the word. So I really appreciate the fact that you are still engaging with the content that I'm putting out on this subject, and And thank you for bolstering me and carrying me along the way. I'm going to go get my breath back and edit this video and get it out to you, because it's already late. It's supposed to go up. I like my videos to go up at 6 AM. It's already 10 AM and here I am recording it, so it's not out yet. Let's get this out for you guys, and I will see you next week, and hopefully I will be a little bit lighter. Take care. Bye for now.